Yes, indeed. I'm going to just get this out of the way. It's Women's Year 2023. It's Women's Year. And we are celebrating women and the incredible work that they do, often, in most cases, unrequited. And one particular person who we are loving at the moment, Candice Chirwa, is affectionately known, or powerfully known, as the Minister of Menstruation, who is making it her mission to change the disempowering narrative around periods. And this morning, she is joining us live via video call from the City of Gold. My sister, a very good morning, Candice. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm very excited, but I think I'm matched by your excitement. I think we're going to out-excite each other today because we are just those kind of people. So I get your energy. I get the vibe because I understand we are dealing with half the population. Why is period poverty, if I can call it that, because I think we are still very much caught in that phase of this journey, probably one of the biggest social challenges we are facing as a country? And why are we not focusing on this as one of the biggest challenges we are facing as a country?
That's a really good question, right? Because, period poverty is an African issue. It's not just an African issue. It is a global issue that impacts more than 500 million people who menstruate. And in South Africa, up to 7 million girls cannot afford to buy period products. And that is just recorded data that we have just on the period products alone. This hasn't factored in the access to infrastructure. This hasn't factored in the access to medical care. This hasn't factored in the fact that they don't even have access to education. And period poverty isn't just a woman and girl's responsibility to solve. We need men and boys involved in this conversation, right? Yeah. So as my duty and agenda as the Minister of Menstruation, my whole objective is to bring awareness around period poverty, but most importantly, to get people to understand that this is a biological function that we have no control over. And all we're asking for is a period positive world that allows us to manage our periods with dignity and care month to month.
We shouldn't even be having this conversation, and I know I'm going to sound all idealistic, and I'm kind of preaching to the choir right now, but I'm going to reiterate once again, it's half the population, okay? And the statistics we've been talking about in terms of the role that women are playing in South Africa right now, we're talking about a part of the population that is carrying the load for the majority of the population right now when it comes to parenting, when it comes to leading households, when it comes to taking the socio-economic knock-on effect of not having these resources. So it's like this perfect storm that just gets compounded by this very fact. You've stepped up to connect the dots here, and I think maybe this is the solution, not a shift in the mindset, but rather in what we can action immediately and how easy we can make it for people to get on board. Unfortunately, that's where we're at with humans. If we haven't been motivated emotionally yet by what's going on around us, maybe nothing will. So Curate, you have stepped up and created action. What do you do as an organization?
Before I get into Curate, Graham, are you available to be the Deputy Minister of Menstruation? Because
I
what you
am.
said there,
I am, please. As long as I get a sash. Do I get to wear a sash?
I'm red every day.
I'm there. I'm there for you, sister. I love it.
Essentially what we do at Curate is, like you mentioned, we are literally walking the talk where we are eradicating the period stigmas. We are confronting the issues around the myths that you've mentioned, the misinformation around periods, and we're doing this through workshops, right? So we're advocating for the fact that young people, any person really, no matter the age, race, group, wherever they come from, really need to understand what periods are. And we do this in a very educating, fun, informative way that really shifts the narrative around periods from a disempowering one to an empowering one. So that's what we've been doing for the past 5 years. We have been traveling from school to school in South Africa, and we still have to come to Western Cape, by the way. So whoever's watching this, if you want us to come to Western Cape, be sure to contact Curate or contact the Deputy Minister of Menstruation. He'll make a plan.
Yes.
That's what we do. We're trying to essentially create this menstrual movement where we're saying everyone can join it, no matter gender, age, race, group. We need to advocate to end period poverty once and for all.
This is kind of a loaded question. So I was fortunate enough as a young man to grow up in an all-female household. and I was wrong all the time. That's basically how I felt as a teenager, just like I didn't know what to do. So part of this period positive conversation needs to be reframed so that men and boys can talk about this comfortably, that young girls in particular can talk about this comfortably with their dads, with their brothers, which isn't an easy thing to do because of this buildup of stigma and all of the nonsense around this space. What advice do you have for us gents that want to do more in this space? What is the shift that needs to happen within us, do you think?
This is such an important question, and I think especially because Women's Day is coming up tomorrow, men have a responsibility in understanding the lived experiences of menstruators, right?
Yeah.
So if you are dating someone who menstruates, I think it's important to have the conversation and understanding what symptoms they go through and what responsibility you have in trying to help them. Because, you know, outside of the cramps and the nausea and the dizziness, we also just feel bad because of hormonal fluctuations, right?
Yeah.
And again, we have no control over this. So I think it's a matter of understanding, and all men can do is ask, what can I do to help? Instead of passing judgment or making us feel less than or inferior, ask, what can I do to help? But I also think the responsibility of men and boys is that they should read and research on this, right?
Yeah.
So you can learn from your fellow Minister of Menstruation, but take it further, listen to podcasts, read literature, you know, engage with the menstruators in your life to really learn about periods and the lived experiences around it. Because in as much as period poverty is saying people don't have access to products, we also need to factor into the fact that there's also a social and a political element to it. The stigma that we need to remove that to establish a period positive world. So men, ask the fellow menstruators in your life what you can do to help. And I can assure you they'll say, I need chocolate, I need money, I need comfort. And I can guarantee you.
And a hot water bottle or two might go down okay. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Absolutely love you, sister. Thank you so much. We're going to stay in your ecosystem and have a little bit of fun with Dan Corder in just a moment. We're going to keep all of your Curate details up for as long as we can. Enjoy Women's Year, my friend. Okay, take ownership of that. I love it. Again, the cup is refilled from the Minister of Menstruation herself, changing the world one period at a time. And if you want to get involved to learn more from this incredible individual and her team, you can find her on social media at Candice_Chirwa and join her in the fight toward changing this narrative. We are period positive.